According to the Centers for Disease Control, last updated May 19th, 2014, most vaccine-preventable diseases are spread from person to person. If one person in a community gets an infectious disease, he can spread it to others who are not immune. But a person who is immune to a disease because she has been vaccinated can't get that disease and can't spread it to others. The more people who are vaccinated, the fewer opportunities a disease has to spread. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, some diseases that are prevented by vaccine, like pertussis, whooping cough, and chickenpox, remain common in the United States. On the other hand, other diseases are no longer common in this country because of vaccines. However, if we stop vaccinating, even a few cases we have in the United States could very quickly become tens or hundreds of thousands of cases. What would your feelings be toward a parent who chose not to vaccinate their child and in turn made your child too young to receive vaccinations, seriously ill, or even worse, caused death? Today we will discuss why people choose not to vaccinate their children, why you should vaccinate, and what will happen if you do not. Following the deliverance of this presentation, I want you to be motivated to vaccinate your children, as well as encourage your friends and family members to vaccinate their children. Because there is a chance that not all of you believe in the benefits of vaccination, I will convince you of why vaccinations provide more benefit than they do harm. According to Dr. Ayana Mondel, a vaccine is a biological preparation that improves immunity to a particular disease. Traditional vaccines contain either parts of microbes or whole microbes that have been killed or weakened so that they don't cause disease. There are several reasons why people choose not to vaccinate. For religious reasons, due to personal feelings about vaccinations, and due to medical complications, some people are exempt from vaccinations. The fear of autism due to receiving vaccination plays a big role in why many parents choose against vaccinating. Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disability caused by differences in how the brain functions, according to the CDC. The main ingredient in vaccines that has been researched and studied to show that it does not cause autism is known as thimerosal. Thimerosal is a vaccine additive that is added to vaccine to help prevent bacteria and fungi from growing in the vaccines. Receiving thimerosal in high quantities can result in poisoning. But according to the CDC, between 1999 and 2001, thimerosal was removed or reduced to trace amounts in all childhood vaccines except for some flu vaccines. Parents who are still concerned about thimerosal poisoning are able to request thimerosal-free vaccinations. Parents also worry about vaccinating their children with fear that they will overload their bodies with immunities and cause autoimmune diseases, such as lupus. Vaccinations cannot be solely to blame because there are several other specifications that can result in an autoimmune disease. Although there are many people who feel strongly about not vaccinating their children due to their religion, personal views on the subject, or due to medical issues, there are still many reasons why you should vaccinate your children. Making the choice not to vaccinate your child comes with risks and responsibilities, according to the Centers for Disease Control. If your child becomes ill and you're required to call 911, ride in an ambulance, visit an emergency room, or go to a doctor visit, you have to remember to share what vaccines the child has or has not received. Doctors have to consider whether or not the illness the child has is a vaccine-preventable illness. Although many are uncommon, they still occur. Your child may need to be isolated from other children, such as infants who cannot receive full vaccinations, to prevent the illness from spreading to them. If there is an outbreak of vaccine-preventable disease in your area, you have to inform schools and others about your child's vaccination status. You have to remember that some diseases may not show symptoms and your child will be susceptible to those illnesses. Think about whether you will be able to live with yourself knowing that because of a choice that you made not to vaccinate your child, you cause serious illness or even death for other children. Not only is that something you'd have to face and deal with the rest of your life, but it affects the other child and their family as well. Now that you know some of the benefits of vaccinations, it's important to know the cold hard truth about what harm can be done if you choose not to vaccinate. According to vaccines.gov, because of advances in medical science, your child can be protected against more diseases than ever before. Some diseases that once injured or killed thousands of children have been eliminated completely, and others are close to extinction, primarily due to safe and effective vaccines. Sure, there are some side effects of vaccination. Redness and pain, discomfort felt at the site of injection is normal. However, this is minuscule compared to the trauma and pain these children would go through if there wasn't a vaccine to prevent the disease. The benefit of disease prevention because of the vaccination is greatly outweighs any possible severe side effects which happen but are very rare. Since 2010, there have been between 10,000 and 50,000 cases of whooping cough each year in the United States, and about 10 to 20 babies, many of which were too young to be fully vaccinated, died each year, according to vaccines.gov. Because these children are too young to be able to receive full vaccination, it is important that yourself and your children who are able to be fully vaccinated are to protect the small children who aren't able to be vaccinated due to their age. When you choose to vaccinate, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also preventing the spread of these deadly diseases to your friends and to your loved ones. In the long run, choosing to vaccinate can save your family money and time. Choosing not to vaccinate can prevent children from being admitted to schools. If your family is unable to live off of the income of just one person, then homeschooling probably isn't an option. If you've chosen not to vaccinate, you're more likely to contract one of the vaccine-preventable diseases, which could result in disabilities, leaving you out of work with outstanding medical bills and potentially needing long-term disability care. Vaccines are typically covered through medical insurance. There are other resources available as well if insurance doesn't cover the vaccination. Information on this can be obtained by your healthcare provider. According to vaccines.gov, vaccines have reduced and in some cases eliminated many diseases that killed or severely disabled people just a few generations ago. Smallpox is a disease that has been completely eradicated from the world. No longer do people have to receive a smallpox vaccine because the disease no longer exists. If people continue to choose vaccinations, one day in the future, diseases from today may no longer be around to pose harm to other children. It is important as parents and future parents to be educated on the benefits of vaccinating our children. Being informed about vaccinations will help us to increase immunization rates and reduce the risk of preventable infectious diseases. Today we discussed vaccinations, reason why children should receive vaccinations, and what harm can be done as a result of choosing not to vaccinate. Ben Carson, MD Professor Emeritus of Neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins University, in a February 2nd, 2015 article, Ben Carson Backs Vaccinations as Safe, stated, "Although I strongly believe in individual rights and the rights of parents to raise their children as they see fit, I also recognize that public health and public safety are extremely important in our society. Certain communicable diseases have been largely eradicated by immunization policies in this country, and we should not allow those diseases to return by foregoing safe immunization programs for philosophical, religious, or other reasons when we have the means to eradicate them."
Yeah.